All right, I'm not going to lie. I think there's a trade incoming, and I'm not saying it's coming tomorrow or even this week, but keep an eye out. All right, so what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, you already saw the description, you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. I'm talking about Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts. Look, the Rams are about to play the Indianapolis Colts at 1 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday in Indy, and I think that it is going to happen very soon that he becomes a Los Angeles Ram. I can't help but shake it. I just have this feeling. I had this feeling when the Rams went and got OBJ. I heard some things, and I was like, he's either going to get let go or he's going to get traded, and he's going to be a Ram. I haven't had this type of feeling since. And right now, like, to me, the Von Miller thing kind of came out of left field. I wasn't expecting that. Like, OBJ I was expecting. This I'm expecting. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a big Darrell Henderson fan, as you guys know. You guys mock me for. Not all of you, but some of you. Darrell Henderson brought pass protection. He brought solid running ability and receiving ability out of the backfield. Now, Darrell Henderson last year was the starting running back, splitting time with Cam Akers. Notice right before Christian McCaffrey and all those rumors came out for the Rams, Sean McVay stopped using the run. And what I mean by stopped using the run, like he really stopped using the run. We're talking 6-7 carries or whatever. I mean, it was low. And I'm starting to see that with Kyren Williams. Now, before you get on Sean McVay, the Rams, and say they're giving up on Kyren Williams, that's not what I think this is. I think they're going to get Jonathan Taylor. But I don't think that is basically they're getting him because it's a knock on Kyren. Kyren stays. I think they like Kyren so much in pass pro and his potential in the receiving game. Mind you, he didn't drop a pass all of training camp and joint practices with Matthew Stafford. So they don't even know what this is. But they haven't been using him. They just haven't been using him enough. He's playing 100% of the snaps, just about, but they're not using him in the run game. And that tells me, I'm not saying Sean McVay is throwing the game. Don't at all don't take that as that. But just understand that if I was a head coach and I said, I need this guy, GM, go do that. And the GM said, all right, well, you have to show me, like, why do we need this guy? Why would you go out? I don't know. I might game the system a little bit. I might not run as much. If I have a thing I want, I might want to show, at least kind of give the opportunity there. Like, I can now bring it up in conversation. Like, oh, well, I don't have this star running back, and that's why we're 1-2. Make the trade. Well, Jonathan Taylor is 24 years old, guys. He was born in January, so he's a decently young 24, like middle of the pack. We're talking September, so he'll be 25 next January. But the point I'm making here is running back shelf life is pretty much 30 and you're done. We've seen it over and over again. There have been running backs that have beaten that out a little bit. But Jonathan Taylor, his first year, he has 1,169 rushing yards. He averages 5 a carry, 11 touchdowns, 36 receptions to boot. In 2021, he rivaled Cooper Kupp in that Offensive Player of the Year award race. He had 1,811 rushing yards with a 5.5 yards per carry average. He had 332 carries, and he had 40 receptions and 18 touchdowns on the ground. However, last year, he had 861 yards. He did get banged up. He had 4 touchdowns, and he had his lowest yards per carry average of 4.5 with 28 receptions. Now, here's the thing. I have some concerns with Jonathan Taylor. First being his injury, okay? Now he's banged up again or whatever it is. I don't want to go and trade for somebody who has injury concerns, especially at the running back position, which has the lowest shelf life. The next thing is he's had 756 touches, not even 756 carries. Okay. 756 carries. We're talking about 860 touches in the last 3 seasons alone. So he may be young, but he's got plenty of wear and tear there. for a young running back. However, he is 5'10", 227 pounds or so forth. So, look, he's a different running back. He'd be a lot different than Kyron. He's got the big playability. You talk about the 4.3 speed. You talk about, obviously, his acceleration. But he's not a great pass protector. So Kyron would still have plenty of run in the offense. Now, why do I think this? Did I get any acknowledgement from anybody? No, actually I haven't. I haven't heard anything that the Rams are going after him. I've seen stuff out there, but me personally, I have not heard that they will be getting Jonathan Taylor. No, what I am saying here, it's somewhat of a gut feeling, but it's also context. There's some context clues here, and just the way we're starting to see Kyron Williams now and everything. I don't think the plan, despite what some of you may believe, I don't think the plan was to get rid of Cam Akers. I think something came up and they had to move on from it. Okay. I don't think they wanted to run this offense without Cam. I think they wanted to run this offense focusing on Kyron Williams, but I still think Cam Akers had something to do and he was going to have a legitimate role in this offense. And I think, unfortunately, he didn't want to be in the back anymore. He didn't want to be behind anybody. He wanted to be the guy, and so it didn't work out. It's just like last year. But I get it, somewhat. So, because of that, I think we saw immediately 97, snap percentage for Kyron Williams, 100 on Monday Night Football, 14 carries, 10 carries, back-to-back games, the fewest in one possession games, 48 of them, in the Sean McVay era. I've said that over and over again. I think there's a reason for that. I don't think Sean McVay, it's not that he doesn't trust Kyron, it's that he doesn't trust anyone after Kyron. He does not trust sixth-round running back Zach Evans, who lost 2 starting jobs in college, TCU and Ole Miss. He does not trust Zach Evans yet. Maybe someday. He does not trust him right now. He's not even, we got to stop mentioning his name. He's not going to be starting right away. Okay, it's going to take him time. He's not even suiting up. It's okay. They're going with the long game on him. They're going to take a while. Royce Freeman, I like the pickup as a, change of pace, short yardage, situational back. What I'm wondering is if they genuinely wanted Sony Michel to have a decent role. I don't know. I mean, right now, they could probably use Sony Michel if they don't believe Kyron can take on more than 15 carries. But at the same time, again, going back to what I'm saying, I really believe that they wanted to keep using Cam Akers. And unfortunately, it just came out to be that it wasn't a good fit anymore. And Cam was not going to have it. So the Rams have had to change what they were doing. But here's another thing that's important to point out, guys. Last year, again, the Rams tried to trade for not just Brian Burns, they tried to trade for Christian McCaffrey. So they've already shown interest in trading for a running back. They were willing to take on that contract. So going back to what my concerns are with Taylor, you have the pass pro is poor. You have the injuries. You have his agent, who I just genuinely, I don't like the stuff being like dirty laundry being, I don't like any of this, honestly. I don't like the way Jonathan Taylor's camp handled this. I don't like the way Irsay's camp handled this. But either way, I think his agent's going to be a little bit of a problem. And furthermore, the contract. You're going to have to pay him a lot of money. I don't care that he got hurt. The guy has almost 4,000 yards in 3 seasons, and he has 33 rushing touchdowns. And in addition to that, he's 24. So you're going to have to pay him whether you like it or not. Or you're going to waste money. You're going to waste draft capital on going out and getting somebody who you're not going to bring back. So there is risk involved here. This is not a guarantee. And it's why I hate to break it to you, I don't love this move. I think if it happened, obviously, in the moment, I like Jonathan Taylor. Full disclosure, I think he's a great running back. In the moment, I'll put it together and be like, wow, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, Stafford, Kupp, Puka, Tutu. It's a lot of weapons. I might feel good. But it's a risk. it's definitely a risk. And I will say this, I think Sean McVay is turning the running back position into a need where it doesn't have to be a need. Go out and get Leonard Fournette. Go out and bring back Darrell Henderson. Go out and get one of those guys. You don't need to trade for somebody. You know what you do need to do is look at the edge room, because what I see is that there's a secondary through 3 games. You have guys like Akello, you have guys like Darian Kendrick, you have guys like Russ East that are balling out despite the fact there's not enough pressure being put on the quarterback. So just imagine how good this defense would be if you shored that up. I'm sorry, Michael Hoyt, I wanted it to work. It's not working. The experiment's not working. So they need to go out. They need to get an edge defender. They need to trade for one. If the Rams gave up a 2nd rounder and say a 4th rounder for Jonathan Taylor, that's draft capital that 1, they won't have next year, and 2, they won't have to be able to go and get an edge defender. And to me, that's a problem, because I think when you look at the running back position, they can work with this running back. Guys, Kyren Williams is 6th in at least 30 carries for a running back. Running backs have 30 carries. He is 6th in running back DVOA. He's 6th in running back success rate. The guy is right behind Christian McCaffrey and ahead of Bijan Robinson. He's not playing poorly. The 3.6 yards per carry average is because he's not getting the ball enough. If you look at 4 out of those 8 runs, legitimately 8 runs, because 2 of them were just giving up, 4 out of those 8 runs went for 8+ yards. The guy breaks tackles. He slips out of tackles. He makes guys miss. He's had a couple drops. Okay, but he's been a good running back, and he's one of the best pass protectors in football. So once again, I see what we're doing. The Rams have essentially turned Kyren Williams into Darrell Henderson in more than one way. I expect Jonathan Taylor is going to end up being the running back in Los Angeles. And to be fair, it does add up when you have Marshall Faulk was traded away by the Colts to the Rams. We know how that turned out. We saw the Rams trade Eric Dickerson to the Colts. There's been a connection there. History, will it repeat itself? I tend to believe it's going to. I think Jonathan Taylor is a fit, but I wouldn't be the biggest fan of going after a running back when I feel like the biggest need of all is to get an edge rusher opposites of Byron Young. I think that, to me, if you're doing anything to improve this team, that it needs to be your first call. Period. End of story. You need to go out and find an edge defender, someone that can do a better job setting the edge, and hopefully someone who's athletic enough, but can also, cover well to supplant Michael Hoyt, who, by the way, has dropped into coverage more than any edge defender in the league. Crazy to say that. But yeah, in conclusion, guys, I kind of rambled, but Jonathan Taylor, I think, is going to be a Ram. I just have this gut feeling. And if I'm wrong, hit me with the crow. I'll eat it. I mean, I don't really care. I have this feeling. It's out there. People are talking about, the Rams. There's stuff out there about the Rams calling about Jonathan Taylor after the Cam Akers trade. That lines up with my theory that the Rams never wanted to get rid of Akers. This wasn't something that they were planning. Clearly, this just happened. And now they're moving on and they're trying to adapt. And I think you look at that first week, it wasn't a fluke week 1, but there's a chance they feel they might need another guy with Kyren. Whether I agree with that or not, they be a team by 17 that looks like a playoff team over the last 2 weeks since playing them. And since then, they're now 0-2. Is that because of Cam Akers? Not quite. But is it because of not having another running back and the way they use the running backs? It's possible. But I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and if you guys enjoyed this, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with somebody, and drop a comment. I'll see you guys soon. Very curious what you guys have to say, because again, just know I'm not off the Kyren train. I'm not a flip-flopper. I just don't really feel like I don't want this trade, but I feel like it's going to happen. And I'm not going to sit here and lie that it's not going to happen when I feel like it is, even if I don't want it to. So again, I'd prefer an edge defender. Please don't yell at me for mentioning this. I want an edge defender, but I think they're going to end up with Jonathan Taylor. That's it. Later, folks.